This is a young boy with a dream, a wish that might never have come true without the help of some very special people. His name? Christopher James Greicius. His dream? To grow up and become a police officer. But Chris was fighting a battle against leukemia. His story is proof that you should never underestimate the power of a dream. Make a wish.
From the time that we found out his diagnosis, when Chris was 4.5, he had latched onto this idea that when he grows up, he's going to be a cop. Police represented strength, power, the good things. They put the bad people in jail. And we explained it to him. Leukemia is kind of like the good guys are fighting the bad guys. And the good guys are the policemen, and the bad guys are the crooks.
Come on, Chris, let's go.
And that's what his blood was doing. So I think in a 5-year-old's mind, the association there was the police are good, and they're fighting, and I'm going to fight with them.
Linda Bergendahl Pauling was a divorced mother of one, a sweet and loving child named Chris, who was fighting a deadly disease.
Ready, partner?
Always.
Christopher and I were more buddies than, I guess, mother and son. We were just little buddies.
Come on in.
Linda had decided to go back to college, where she met another student, Kay Austin.
Ready to hit the books? Ready as I'll ever be.
Kay and I became very good friends, and she had mentioned to me that her husband was a police officer, and I said, oh, well, Chris will just die because he's in love with cops.
Several hours later, Kay's husband, Tom, arrived home.
Hi, honey.
Hey, how are you? I would like you to meet a friend of mine from school. This is Linda.
It's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Who's the little guy asleep on the sofa?
That's my son, Chris.
He had a little pistol in his hand. He turned over on the couch and said, "Freeze, I'm a police officer."
Freeze, you're under arrest.
But I'm a policeman.
No, you're not.
And he carefully searched my pockets.
Show you my badge.
When he was satisfied I was clean, he put his weapon back in, and he stuck out his hand, and he says, "Hi, I'm Chris." And from that moment on, that child had my heartstrings in his hands and a downhill pull.
You know what, Chris?
It was just almost meant to be that we were going to become buddies. I learned that he loved police officers, and so I gave him a customs patch.
How about your own patch?
Mom, look what Tommy gave me.
I see. Did you say thank you?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
No.
He practically wore that jacket out trying to figure out where he was going to wear his customs patch. And finally he decided he was going to wear it right here, because that's where an officer wears his badge, and to him the customs patch was his badge.
Chris desperately wanted to be like other normal children, but his disease was slowly getting the upper hand.
What's up, Chris?
I'm tired.
Chris and I talked a lot about death and dying.
I'm tired of being tired.
He never once said, why am I sick and the other kids aren't? He just seemed to accept things for the way it was. Someday he would be in heaven, and he really did not have too much of a problem with that, except that he wanted me to go with him.
When Tom learned that Chris might have only a few days to live, he decided to make good on a promise he'd given the young boy.
Ron Cox, this is Tom Austin.
He called Ron Cox with the Arizona Department of Public Safety and told him about Chris's dream to become a motorcycle officer and ride in a helicopter.
It's just that simple. You just would not believe the effect that this child had on grown men.
Relax, Chris. You can wear your shoes. He'll be here in a second.
The excitement of having his wish come true gave Chris new energy. His father, who knew that Chris's time was near, had arranged to be with his son on this special day.
When I got there about 20 minutes too late, and Chris was already in the driveway, and I wished you could have seen the look on his face when I drove up in that driveway. He had a smile on his face that you couldn't wash off with a wet wash rag. Boy, and he knew it was real then.
When we return, Chris's dream comes true just days before his battle with leukemia ends. The emotional conclusion to Make a Wish right after this. Special Agent Tom Austin made a simple promise to a young boy, and now the Arizona Highway Patrol was about to make that promise a reality. Chris Greicius didn't know what the next few days had in store for him, but they would prove to be some of the most memorable in Arizona state history. Make-A-Wish, Part 2. True to their word, the Arizona Highway Patrol flew in a Ranger helicopter for Chris to take his ride. What Chris didn't know was that this was only the beginning of the special events that the Department of Public Safety had planned. When Chris landed, he was met by Arizona Highway Patrolman Frank Shankwitz.
Officer Frank. Nice to meet you, Chris.
I thought this little boy was going to be out just very sick, but this little bound of energy came out of that helicopter and saw the motorcycle. Now, to me, a helicopter would be the ultimate ride, but he was just awed by that motorcycle. I got him on it, let him sit on there, play with the sirens and all the lights, and I asked him if he wanted to go for a ride. And he said, no, there's no doors on the motorcycle. No, I can't go for that.
Hi, Christopher. How are you?
Hi.
Come on up.
Everything they could do for this child at that time, they did. He wanted to be an officer, and they wanted him to be an officer.
Turns on the lights overhead.
Officers help other police officers, and they were coming to the aid of this child.
You want to take it for a spin, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
They let him drive a patrol car, and Chris loved to blow bubbles. Bubble gum was forever with this kid. You know, it cost me a fortune with him. So he would be blowing bubbles while he was driving the police car, and the guys were just getting such a kick out of this. They were just having a ball.
But there was one final surprise in store for Chris that day.
Colonel Schaefer, I'd like you to meet this very special young man. This is Chris.
Hi, Chris. I understand you want to be a patrol officer.
Yeah.
There was a ceremony in our colonel's office, and he was given a certificate with his name on there.
Cool.
And you'll also need a hat like this.
He was given what we call our Smokey the Bear hat.
And something very
He was
special.
given a badge.
Your own badge.
It's very unusual for somebody to be given a badge because the badges are controlled. And Chris was made the first and only honorary Arizona Highway Patrolman in the history of Arizona Highway Patrol. And that badge is still assigned to him today.
And here's your uniform.
Neato.
It was hard fighting back the tears, I think, for everybody to see how happy this little kid was with this grin on his face, like, I'm a real cop now, you know, and all these newfound big buddies.
Well, Chris, you feel like a patrolman?
It was so much love coming from total strangers, and to Christopher, it was like a dream come true, and that made me so happy, because here's this little boy that I was helpless to do this for him. A group of people just got together and just did it.
The day after Christopher received his uniform, he was back in the hospital for the last time.
I went to the hospital, and Chris was in a coma.
How's he doing?
Linda said they think this is it.
Right, Chris's wings.
Oh, thank you.
His uniform was hanging across the room. I pinned down the motorcycle wings, hoping when he would wake up, he would see them. Just as I finished putting on the wings, he came out of the coma. The smile just like lit up the room.
On May 3rd, 1980, Christopher James Greicius passed away.
He knew he got his wings, and I always like to feel that maybe those wings helped carry him to heaven.
I was not very graceful about Chris's death. I begged God for his life. I was telling God, take some of these guys I work on. Take a murderer, take a rapist, take a drug dealer. Do everybody a favor. don't take this child. All he ever wanted to do was grow up and help somebody and be a police officer and be a productive member of society.
After Chris died, the department got really involved because as far as they were concerned, we had lost a fellow officer. Chris was buried in uniform. We had a full police funeral for him, the escort, and a graveside ceremony with the state of Arizona flag on the coffin and presented to Chris's mother.
The parents' eternal question is, why my child? Please just make him better. Take me instead. My grandmother used to say there's a reason for everything. Sometimes you have to look a little bit harder, but eventually you'll find good in it.
Good to see both of you again.
From the tragic death of this child, the seed of a great idea was born.
Scott and I were talking on the plane back from the funeral, and we came up with this idea.
Frank and Scott were happy about what they had done, but yet felt kind of a sorrow too. It was a mixture of emotions.
Doing for other kids what we did for Chris.
And they said, wouldn't it be neat if we could let a little kid make a wish and let's make it happen? And the only thing I could say was, yes, let's do it. All right.
In 1980, the Make-A-Wish Foundation was formed to grant special wishes to terminally ill children.
Scott, you said you had a new submission for a child yesterday?
Yes, Maria Gomez. She's 4 years old and she wants to go to Disneyland.
We started Make-A-Wish in Phoenix with $15 in a bank account that was donated by somebody from a grocery store. I just started making phone calls and the money just started coming in.
I've heard several mothers say, I used to be the mother of a dying child, but now I'm the mother of a wish child. Leukemia claimed the life of my son, Chris, but it could not claim the love that he had for me.
It's a special feeling inside, a special glow to know that you're part of the development of Make-A-Wish, and all because of a special little boy and because of a customs agent that introduced us to that boy.
Since the inception of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, over 33,000 wishes have been granted to children around the world through the 82 chapters in the U.S. and 15 chapters internationally. All of this sprang from one boy's dream to become a policeman. His short life had an incredible impact on everyone who met him and on the thousands of other dying children with dreams of their own.